SEO is dead and we are going to factories.
Who is Dani Leitner?
Best three options.
Can't I do something else?
Please do content for people.
I already know that. Get to the point.
Hello and welcome to a new Collaborator Podcast episode. And today's topic is about Topical Authority for SEO. And our guest is Daniela Leitner, an independent SEO consultant from Switzerland and an international SEO speaker. Today, Dani will share her path, her own experience, her expertise, and best practices on how you can build topical authority for your website. So I hope you will enjoy this video. Thank you for joining. Dani, please tell me a little bit about your background. How did you start your SEO career? Why you decided to be a SEO in general? Because it's not so common. In modern world, in most of cases, people prefer to be SMM marketing. So not a lot of women in general knows about search engine optimization. How you discovered this in your life?
Wow, we start really deep because I have not studied marketing at all. So I'm not coming from the marketing world. I'm actually I'm coming from IT because I've been on a technical school and were then an IT project manager for a few years. Then I decided I don't want to have anything to do with computers anymore because that's just boring. And I started to just study civil engineering because, like, why not? After being a civil engineer, I was just like, okay, I don't like this job because you have to drive to the construction sites and then you're in construction sites and it's a little bit complicated. I was like, I need something else. And I always had a little bit, I really liked building websites and having some side projects. And then I found an SEO agency in Innsbruck where I lived. And I was applying 2 times there. And on the second time they took me. And that was when I said, like, yeah, I want to learn about SEO. And that's how I actually entered the SEO world. So I've never studied anything around it, just learned by doing and on client projects, actually.
Cool. It's the biggest difference, civilian engineer and SEO. You know, in general, people are joking that SEO is dead and we are going to factories because we will not have a work soon because of AI development. And SEO community is joking that in a few years we all go to the factories and to civilian jobs. So you you have the opposite story. Okay. And how many years do you do this? How many years you are a SEO?
I got the job at SEO starting 2021, so it's actually not such a long time ago, but the learning curve was incredible in the agency I was working at because I was starting with link building actually to see this part, which I didn't like at all. So I
Why?
came because the only thing we were doing all day long was writing emails to bloggers and trying to convince them that they should publish an article by us. And it's so tiring to just be all day long writing emails, not getting a response, getting a bad response, writing more emails. And I was like, can't I do something else? And I then went into technical SEO, which was too fast because without having the basis about what SEO really is, how to do SEO strategy, I was struggling a lot because technical SEO is not so easy to understand. I then switched to strategic SEO, where I had great mentors for keyword research, for how to build the strategy. I started having 5 clients, building the strategy from zero and working with them. When I then moved to Switzerland. And there I started with the technical SEO again. And that was when I actually started getting it and understanding. And I was like, oh, okay, now it's the time for
I got it.
SEO. Now it's the time, not 2 years ago.
Okay. What is your favorite part of SEO in general?
SEO strategy, so building the strategy for a client, and keyword research. I know a few people say it's already dead, but I still love it.
What tools can you recommend for clusterizing the really big amount of keywords? Like, I don't know, when we try to scrape the all travel keywords.
For keyword research, I normally use SEMrush because I really like the database that they have in German. But for clustering afterwards, I need to admit I do it manually. I really go through the
Wow.
keywords that I was sorting out. I first
Wow.
cluster them in a sheet manually, how I think they would go together, and then I put them into the SERPs to see if it's really like that.
Okay, okay. In general, yeah, I agree. The best clusterization is human clusterization, but sometimes it can be really hard when
Mm.
you have a big amount of keywords, like 1 million. But in general, for SEO, we don't need to clusterize all of keywords. We need to provide a structure first.
Yeah,
That's we are talking about
yeah.
topical authority. Okay, let's start. Tell me, please, about what is topical authority for you.
I brought actually a few definitions because I was looking up a few definitions. We could go to the presentation to have a look at them, what other sites are saying. Because I have the feeling that it's really different what some pages are saying, and everyone has kind of their own interpretation. So we have, for example, the SEMrush blog that says, yeah, it's a website's expertise and credibility on a particular subject, which is really important. It needs to be one subject, one topic. Then we have the search engine journal that says that you need to build authority, be the authoritative resource on a specific subject, which is for me more what you get when you have topical authority. Then Ahrefs defines it like becoming the go-to authority on one or more topics. And Neil Patel, he's really to the point. Your website is the place to learn about a particular subject. And that's like what everything of these definition have in common is actually that you kind of get the source for people, for search engines on a topic. So you cover everything that you can imagine that might be out there with questions, with sub questions, and everything around the topic. And then the idea would be that if a user comes to your site, he actually doesn't have to leave anymore because he can find everything on the site.
And I think that people sometimes can understand the topical authority in not clear way because I have two part for this. The first part is that SEO in general become more challenging because Google algorithms they improve they are improving every time after
Yes.
each core update. The algorithm system is becoming harder and more difficult. And even Google does not for sure how they operate all these data from the web. I mean, we know about Google Leak, okay, we can just read for ourselves and determine the main points. But even if we have this documentation, I think we cannot predict for sure expected results. All we know that from the past 10 years we have a clear documentation about the content assessment which Google just improve a little bit from time to time, but the main goal is still the same. Please do content for people. Of course, hey, this statement, but I would like to add something more. I would like to add that now also there is a huge problem with indexation. Probably all of us heard about it because, for example, 5, 6, 7 years. I'm so old because I remember I remember SEO like for 8 years ago, and in that time it was so easy to be indexed in a few hours. For now, it's not so easy to be indexed because there are such a lot of HTML documents around the web, and the crawling possibility are limited. The main goal is when you're providing a content on some kind of topic which have about 10,000 results in Google. Just ask yourself, is this content worth to be indexed comparing with other 10,000 HTML documents? Like, Huh?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
sure?
yeah.
Yeah, that's all. So,
Yeah, and I think this problem gets worse every year now, because now, especially with that, we are really easily can write content with artificial intelligence. You just pump out content. Actually, one of my recommendation, if you want to build, I mean, first of all, building a strategy around topical authority also means to not write about everything, because why would you write about something that's not relevant for your business? Although it has a high search volume, just write for your topic. But also, I think I love when I'm trying to build my strategy around topical authority, I prefer to start with long tail keywords, so with really specific searches that might just have 10 search volume per month, or if you sum up like 20, 50, because there might not be the answer for it there out there. So you can actually get faster results, and you're answering something that's not out there. Not just like if I have a travel blog and there I have the topical authority on interrailing, and I'm not the first article I wrote, okay, was about what is interrailing, because I didn't know what I was doing. But the second then was more
is
specific.
it? What is what is it?
Interrailing, it's going with the train around Europe. This train ticket,
Ah, yeah, I got it.
interrail, yeah. Yeah, with the specific articles, that's where I got the traffic then. Like I made one that was interrail itinerary for Italy, because the main interrail website was just putting some itineraries on for the global pass. And I made it specific on the one country pass just for Italy. And that was like really specific, long tail. It still had search volume, and it was easier for me to get in with my small travel blog there. So that's actually what I recommend as well. Don't just attack the high volume, big keywords that everyone is writing about, but go deep into your topic and start with long tail keywords.
Yeah, especially for young website, like for example, you
Yes.
just watch a website without any domain history. It's totally clear. The archive is also clear, and you would like to get traffic in perspective, but it's always a dilemma what to start with
Mm,
high volume keywords and wait, or start with low volume keywords and get your small wins right now,
yeah.
because it's really a question, because a lot of CEOs recommend to start from scratch. I mean, from the high volume keywords, like for example, let's take an example from Italy travel. We can take about Rome, about Venice, about the touristic destinations, but we can also cover the small, easiest question: how to get on train in Italy, because Italian railways, they're so crazy. And there are, for personally, I have a lot of questions about railway in Italy. It's the first touristic question which I
Yeah.
would like to Google when I travel anywhere about trains, especially in Europe. What can you recommend? How we can start to find these keywords? What's your best three options?
To find the specific keywords like the long tail. I normally also start like I have, if we stay with Italy vacation, I would look for keywords that have Italy vacation and really go through a keyword list and see, but go to the keywords with less search volume. So like search volume 0, 10, 20. Is there a cat up there?
I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. Let's just finish. Go. It's it's Lucy. She is my assistant.
She
Assistant.
wants to shine as well today.
She also have her own opinion about topical authority. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, I would look, so like I would really search for the small volume keywords. And also what I really like is questions that come from users, like really your, if you work for a company that's not a new company but also already has a few years, they know what the customer, what questions always come up, what they could write about, and start with there. because that's actually immediately helping the customer or the user. So even if it's not ranking or not so many are looking for it, it's still helpful. So look like on these two things: small search volume, and what does the business bring from ideas, from customers, from questions, from talking to people. Like now in my travel blog, I get a lot of comments because people find my travel blog, they comment on it. And from there, I get a lot of new ideas for articles, because it's just like, oh, I didn't cover this part. Maybe I should write an article about it because they have questions. So that's
Yeah.
really helpful.
Yeah, just yesterday I was analyzing our corporate site Collaborator, and I
Mm-hmm.
just go through Trustpilot, and
That's good
I
as
have
well.
I have plugin Perplexity,
Mm-hmm.
and I just ask a few questions. So, for example, what people like about our company according to Trustpilot results, and inside this page with plugin of Perplexity, he analyzed me all reviews about our company and created a small summary of each review, highlighting the benefits and disadvantages. So
Mm-hmm.
for me as for marketing specialist or sales specialist, it's already a good point to start my research with. So at least I can understand what our customers appreciate, or what most common challenges do they face with during work with our business and our company, for example. And for me it's already a huge opportunity, like, I already know what should I write about, or what should I highlight in my post articles, or any kind of content which I produce for our clients. So yeah, it's really
That's a
good.
really good idea. Look at the
Please, if you don't have a company, you can, for example, go through your competitors and
yeah, to the
just,
comments there. That's also really well.
yeah,
Just
just
I
to
mean,
understand what
yeah.
the main points of each competitor can you use for your strategy.
I mean, for sure, it's easier to just export a keyword list, but that's where you get like really deep into what the user wants to find and is looking for. And I think also, if you think about it, if you write about a topic like the really high search volume, really general one, it doesn't show anything that you know about the topic, because you're just writing what everybody else would be writing because it's a general topic. But if you have really specific answers to question and content that is to really deep inside of the topic, Google might also think, and people, of course, like, oh, this person knows the shit she's talking about. Like,
Yeah.
really, okay, it's really into it's not just, okay, she found a keyword that has a lot of search volume and wrote the same, like you said, the million pages there as well, and just was lucky and got to first place or something. But it really shows that you have experience there because you're deeper down.
Yeah, at least just our first goal to create a content that will be indexed and will be ranked soon. The second, we need to promote our content, and to promote our content, the content really should be really good. Okay, but why? Can you please explain me, please, why people started to talk about topical authority and why this topic became so popular the last, I don't know, 2 3 years? So maybe it was always popular, and we just a little bit younger generation which didn't knew a lot about it.
Hmm. That's a really good question. I was digging a little bit into the history of Google. What I actually found is that it already started in 2013. I mean, we weren't talking about topical authority back there, but it was like the first update that made the direction. Because before 2030, SEO was really like focused on individual keywords. I'm for sure. I mean, I haven't done SEO then, but I think you haven't either, no? 2031, I was an IT project manager for Swarovski, and I just
Okay.
graduated school 2 years ago. So
Okay, and me, I just graduated a school.
yeah,
And so I really didn't know anything about SEO in that time.
no, me neither. So that but for sure you heard stories like the thing they put keywords on the page, and it was more about how often the keyword is on the page, and you put it in the same color like the background 1,000 times, so you have it more than your competition, and things like that. Things that worked, because we SEOs always do things that work but might not work in the future but work now. And then was the great hummingbird update that shifted a little bit more to understand not just keywords. So it was when we started searching, actually, when we two learned to Google, it was really putting in a keyword. And if you put in a phrase, you couldn't find anything because Google didn't know what to look for. Like now you can write anything there and you literally find something. But before it was like really you had to get the keyword right and the order and everything. And then they started with a little bit to go into direction of semantic search and understand the context, the intent, and not just the matching keywords. Without this, we wouldn't have Topical Authority today because it wouldn't be possible. Then there was 2015 the Rank Brain introduction, which was Google's machine, or which is Google's machine learning algorithms that started to even understand more of topic and context and made this thing topical relevance somehow important also for ranking, which I think we still didn't have in 2015 the hype with Topical Authority we have today, but it was already starting. And then, of course, the EAT guidelines, which are now EEAT. But I think the most important are these three, is the expertise and authoritativeness and trustworthiness. Because with that, Google was looking at, do you have the expertise? Can I trust you? Are you an authoritative source? And all these things are really important today for Topical Authority as well. And then was the PERT update, which got even better with the natural language processing. And it's around there where it was even more where the discussion started. Do keywords still matter, or should we go to entities? Which is like a really huge discussion as well. And there was really the context and relationships about the topics. And what I was digging into the last weeks was the Google leak, because he said it before that we could read a little bit in the Google leaks, which is not the easiest document to read about. But there is a model that's called Quality Authority Topic Embeddings Version Item. Sounds really complicated.
Without spaces, yes.
But it's actually really about it shows us, of course we are not sure with the leak. I mean, for everyone who doesn't know what happened with the Google leak, it's just documents that actually document functions that you can use for programming the algorithm of Google, and we don't know how it's actually used. We just know it's there. Somebody once thought like it might be helpful to have it, and it's most probably used in some kind of way. So all the interpretations we do are a little bit interpretations, but it gives you as a direction. And this, like, okay, it's not saying a lot, but I put it in a table what these parts of Quality Authority Topic Embeddings Version Item means. And I really find it really interesting because we have, so like the page embedding would be the main topic of the page that you're at, and the site embedding, the topic of the whole website. So Google can see, with this function, you can see that's the topic of the website and that's the topic of the page. With the site radius, it can compare, is the page part, has it the same topic like the website, or has it a different topic?
Yeah, so okay. Take an example. For example, we have a travel website, right, about Italy, and suddenly we have a few articles about how to play in casino slots in New Jersey, for example.
Because we wanted to make guest posting or what?
Yeah, of course. So what is our site embedding radius? Is it close or is it far? How we can understand it? Probably, I think it's a bullshit. But
yes.
What does Google think about it?
I actually can explain it to you very well because I experienced
Yeah.
it. I just have now the explanation. I mean, it was not about casino, but I had my travel blog and I got the Topical Authority for interrailing because I was writing a lot about it. And I was doing affiliate for interrailing for the Interrail website. I started it when I saw like, oh, I actually get traffic. Maybe I should make some money out of the blog. And then after my first 100 euros, Interrail stopped the affiliate program. And I was just like, come on. I was just starting to get money. and, and then I was just like, yeah, no, now I'm pissed. I'm not writing about Interrail anymore. So I started writing about hiking, skiing, solo traveling, like everything, and nothing ranked. It was like before I just put something out there about Interrail and it was top 10. And then I put something of hiking and Google was just like, I'm not even indexing that. I'm sorry, but no. It was really frustrating, even if we're laughing at it now. But there was one article that was about how you can get to know people when traveling alone. And it was actually focused on backpacking and traveling because I was traveling um, Central America alone for 2 months. And I was writing about that, how you get to know people and giving tips. And it was ranking for how to get to know people while interrailing. There was no mention of interrail on the whole article, and I was just like, "What? Why?" Now I changed it. Now it's how to get to know people on interrail to get on first page. But it was just like, "Come on, why?" And that's the explication on this because he was taking my hiking article and saying like, "How close is hiking to interrail travel?" Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but no, too far away. That's not your expertise. And that's how you can actually explain this a little bit.
Okay, so while we are doing our keyword research, we should investigate and understand the connection between topics, how they correlate and how close are they, and do not miss each point which can build us a bridge between these topics. We
Yeah.
also we also can use all, all these strategies also close to internal link topic. So we when we are doing our topical map, of course, we should think about also internal linking to provide the strong connection. And I also have a travel website, but I understand what you are talking about. So I would like just to share a little bit my experience how I started. So Google Trends,
Yeah.
the basic one, which I can do for free without any tools. It's just go to Google Trends and to understand, for example, my travel blog was or is about Portugal, and why I decided to do it. I decided to do it because I hated that there is no clear information in English about how does Portuguese trains work. So I decided that I checked the volume. Of course, as a SEO, I check the volume of this keyword. And then I realized that it's really a good topic. Everyone is talking about best destinations, etc. But no one talk about the practical usage of traveling, So it's just a tip or advice for SEOs who start a really hard niche. I mean, for example, if you're working in house on some kind of difficult topics, as a lot of SEO know this practice. For example, when you work around some kind of boring topics in which you're not an expert at all. Like my best example is snowing machines. I don't care about snowing machines, and I don't like plumbing. I don't like windows cleaning, roofing. It's not my expertise, but as a SEO, we should be in the field and understand the connection between all topics. So the best example is just go to Google Trends and try to brainstorm a little bit, because if Google will not you provide the exact amount of popularity of this topic, at least you can understand how Google builds connection between this topic. And for start, it's already good. And then you can go to your keyword research and clusterization.
What's also really nice to find out how Google might think about some topics or what's related is going to Google Pictures, because up there you have like the different specification to go deeper into the topic, and that's actually helping as well. I saw that on some recommendation, which is really cool. I've not thought about it before.
Totally agree. It's really good approach, and also we can manipulate a little bit with image search, just to optimize it in the right way.
Yeah.
Especially, I think it's also a good addition to Topical Authority when you provide images to your article, which describes in quite clear way. Hopefully, gratefully for today with ChatGPT and AI in general, you can provide the really clear description. Just just please do not add this keyword stuff in, like buy something online. Just it doesn't work. Just check the SERP and images. It doesn't work anymore.
I have three. It's like the key components of topical authority. There I brought back three things. We were talking about some of them already, which I think are really important to take in, or really good tips to start with if you want to build topical authority, which is once of course quality and depth of content. Like we should already said, you should put out the high quality content, in-depth content, and not just go on the high volume keywords that everyone is already talking about. And always have in mind the internal linking, hub and spoke, and things like that. So you actually structure your content that you write. Maybe the first few articles, if you really go in like long tail, might be not necessary to structure that much. But if you want to cover a whole topic, it gets really messy because you have a lot of content on your site then that you should structure and internal linking. You do good internal linking, and that's what you want with topical authority. You want really go deep and have in-depth content.
Can I ask you a question about how deep should be our content? Because sometimes we can, all of us can do some mistakes, and it's okay. But how deep should we go in case of topical authority? Like how how deep we should go. I mean, for example, if we are talking about get visa in Berlin, should we talk about the all about Berlin, or should we talk about some more specific? Where is the limitation? Where is the border between actual topical authority and just scraping all around our keyword?
Yeah, for like if you would say like let's take the example of visa in Berlin. Writing about the best free walking tours in Berlin is maybe too far away, because you try to talk about how to get visa, how to live there. So you might get more into direction. How do I find a flat? How to have, what are the first steps you need to do if you get there? Depends if you're doing it for travel. Of course, it's more like getting a visa to travel there. What do you need to do? How is it the airport connected and things like that? And not just get like too far away.
Mhm.
With the depth, it's also I find it really funny. We SEOs in the SEO world, if you research how we write articles for our own site and everything, it's like the more the better. So you have articles with 3,000 and 5,000 words, and it takes you like 3 hours to get to one information that you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just need clear information. I don't want to read your introduction about how it's great to do something. I have a reader blindness. I just skip it all.
Or like when I also like it when when you search something for SEO, it always starts with what is this? What is this? And you're just like, I was searching something really specific. I don't need to know what the main topic is and what, like you search for how do I tips on email marketing for small businesses, and just what is email marketing? Why do you need to do? And you're just like, I already know that. Get to the point. And there I think the nice thing about topical authority, I would, for example, split up these topics. Like you have one about what is email marketing, one about that's just for the tips, one that's about why do you need a tool, and then you have the interlinking. So then you know, like, oh, you're not sure what topical authority or what email marketing is. You can read that here. Maybe you should start here. But then that's really, and we not just put everything in one article to hope to rank.
I think it's kind of old style SEO because a few years ago it works pretty well.
It was like write more words than the competition and you're more in depth. But
But for now, so it's not about to provide the full context information. It's about provide the clear context about a few specific topics, and it doesn't mean that you need to create a really big long read.
and I would say as well, in depth doesn't just mean on one page. I mean more in depth, like you can go deeper into the topic by going to another article on the page. So in depth, like the general topic, not everything on one page and go in depth.
Like technical documentation in Confluence.
So yeah. Oh, you want even more detail on it? Here is an article that goes into this particular point that you might want to read.
It's easier to rank because for your one specific topic, probably you can check, for example, using all in title results or in title results, and you will see that even if the word has enough volume, there are not enough results on this topic. And providing this specific piece of content, you can get in top much more easier than providing the really long read article.
I also think we SEOs are also a little bit like what we learn at the beginning. You need to look at the first top 10 rankings and make the same because that's what Google wants to show and the user wants. But sometimes Google just didn't find anything better. For example, my Interrail article, that was really the first one in top 10. I was doing the same keyword research. I found this topic. I thought, oh, nice. I've been doing Interrail in Italy already 2 times, so I can give some tips. I know how to plan the itinerary, so I can actually write about it. And then I was looking, and the first ranking was, I don't like that. That's a global pass. That's just goes to Rome and then takes a flight to France. I mean, and I was just like looking through, but that's not what I meant. And I, despite of knowing that this topic is not ranking like I have it in my mind, I was writing it like I wanted to. And that's, I think, why I ranked, because I had domain authority of 2. And then you have Interrail with a domain authority of 80. And then you had really blocks that were around Interrail and everything. But I was writing about something that the user wanted, and Google didn't find anywhere else.
Unfortunately, I think it's also a good option when you're trying to do your competitor analysis. And for example, as you said, when you see on SERP a few really outdated articles from authority websites, and for example, if you see UGC platforms or Wikipedia platforms, for me personally, it's a signal that Google do not have enough good options to put on the top, and that's why we see SERP with Quora, Reddit, Wikipedia like this. So for me, it's a signal that yes, I definitely should go to this topic because I have a chance to be on the top, even with this topic. Or if you see, for example, the top 10 with full of authority websites, but if you see one small tiny website which is already in top 10 with DR10, probably it's also a good point for you to start with this topic, and probably you have a chance even without links. But who have chance without links for today? It's so hard, but sometimes it works.
The next thing that's really important about topical authority is that it's a long-term strategy. I mean, SEO should be a long-term strategy in general, but if you say your plan is topical authority, be prepared to nothing will work at the beginning because you need to get to the critical mass. So at the beginning, it's you write, and it's just like, yeah, even if, especially if you're a new website or if you change topic, which is really one of the bad things about Topical Authority. Is if you have it and you want to change topic, it takes a big effort. I saw that in the agency where I started to learn about SEO, and the agency still is one of the go-to sources for SEO topics. But while I was there, like the market was changing a little bit. We had really good copywriters, so clients started asking us to write as well on the about page and things like that that are not SEO relevant. And we saw like, oh, that's right. We have good writers, so we could actually write to content marketing, not just SEO content, but generally content marketing. And we started to position the web for content marketing. Horrible, didn't work. It was really, really hard to tell Google, hey, we have a different expertise than SEO as well. Because it was just like, yeah, maybe, but I think you're more SEO. So there it's really hard to get to another topic. So it needs a lot of effort you need to put in at the beginning. And if you want to change topics, it's really a long-term strategy and you shouldn't get
Mhm.
frustrated at the
Yeah,
beginning.
you just caught my thought. I just want to ask you, isn't frustrating for you?
Yes.
Just how we can deal with it? I mean, okay, we two of us, we are experienced specialists, so we know our stuff. But what about newbies? How we can encourage them if they just started their journey or career? What can you recommend?
I mean, it's not so easy if you start and you have a client you have to convince him and you're not convinced of your strategy. That is really hard if you try to convince your client and you're not 100% sure. So you should just be confident around the client. But if it's for your own, I mean, I think every SEO should start a side project. Like you have your travel blog, I have my travel blog, to experiment, to try things.
Yeah, to do mistakes.
Yeah. And choose a topic that you actually like, because then you can stick around. If it's a topic that you say, I actually hate writing about it, I hate reading about it, I am not interested in at all, but I thought it might be good to make an affiliate site about it because I could make some money, then you won't have the energy to stick to the topic and stick there. You might just like, oh, it's not working, I'm going to the next one. But if you choose something like me with the travel blog, where you was like, you're passionate about traveling, you want to write about it, and you really enjoy writing about it as well and experimenting, it's a lot easier to stick around.
Yeah, it's a perfect topic to start because traveling, it's really a perfect example to build the topical map, to understand how does it work, to feel and deep in this topic in general, to understand the connection between entities and how does it work inside. Because you can choose any topic, but travel is the easiest one. And also, it's good to provide unique content because every time you can provide your personal experience. In that time, you can provide your EE art in general. So it's good to start. We recommend you.
I mean, it's just really general. There are a lot of people who just like traveling, I think. But I also saw like one of my colleagues made a website about sustainable shoes. And I was just like, how did you get to this topic, sustainable shoes? It sounds so random. Did it have a lot of search volume? And he was just like, no, I'm actually really into the topic because I really like to know if my shoes are sustainable and ecological and everything. I was just like, wow, I've never thought about this topic. And he was really passionate about that topic. It's really niche and really nice to build around a website around it as well. So it doesn't have to be traveling, but if you're into traveling, it's a good way to start. Yes.
I think that you can expect for first results after 6 months of regular work on your content,
Mhm.
and maybe in 12 months, probably you'll get the first really good
Yeah.
results. So until this, you should be creative because you will not have enough budget for it, and probably you will spend more than earn. So just be ready also for this financial part, especially if you're working in agency or if you're working for someone. You cannot guarantee any kind of results.
Yeah.
So You can
Yeah, for
guarantee as small milestones, for example, and
mm,
some part of your work.
that's, I think, also good if if, because with a client, of course, you need to bring some results to show him, yeah, the money you're bringing in is helping something. So I think there it's really good. But like we said before, to go to topics that are really long, don't have too much competition. So you can actually show, like, look, you're ranking on page one with that because it was easier to rank for. Or also the thing with having two goals with the content. Like, one goal would be Google ranking, and the other goal is, hey, it's a real question of a user. The people might need it. You can add it to your newsletter. You can add it to social media because it's a real question of someone. So you have like this double goal for the content. As we were talking about, or you also started mentioning links, I think it's really important for Topical Authority to go beyond your website. Not just write content and content and content for your website, but also go out there. I mean, one thing is social media because it's easier for the beginning to get their followers. So get your content also on social media, link to your website, but also to other websites that are in your niche. For example, for us, it would be like writing a post for Moz, which I, for example, did for Topical Authority. That was, I'm getting out there on a really important website for our SEO niche, write something for them and show that I have SEO expertise, and not just write hours and hours on my blog, but also on different sites. But not in the, not the goal here is not is to get the link. It's the goal is to really get out there in front of a different audience and build your brand around the topic as well.
Yeah, just a great example. A few days ago, I'm very sorry if I pronounce his name not correctly. There is a great SEO specialist whose name is Gus, and he's work in Indeed. So he created an article for Vic's blog about how to get a knowledge panel, and
Mm-hmm.
he got a knowledge panel after this. So it's really funny, and
Okay, that's really
it's a really great example. So
yes.
he did it. I analyzed a little bit his personal website, so it's pretty simple. It's just a website about this person. He has a simple JSON schema about himself. It's really the basic one. Everyone has it, and yeah, and he built his own brand via LinkedIn. We are providing, as you said, the authority guides on different topics about SEO on different websites. He has a few great articles about ChatGPT and Screaming Frog, and the second one about Wix about how to get a knowledge panel. And here we go. He did it. It's really a great example because for SEO specialists he got a SEO professional knowledge panel.
Oh, I want one like this as well.
It's really so cool because I know that a lot of specialists try to, for example, try to write their own book, promote it, and then they got a knowledge panel as author. So yeah, it's just another topic to discuss, but it was really very interesting. Just check it as a good example. It's a recommendation for all of us.
That's also important because it shows Google that you're not just writing on your blog, but you're, because Google sees other websites as well, and the algorithm understands the connection between you and this side and you and this side, with the same name and everything. Maybe you use the same picture, so it's the same face, or the same logo if it's the brand. So Google can understand this. I have a really nice anecdote for this as well, because you use Perplexity, no? I asked Perplexity, just for fun, I asked him about me, like, who is Dani Leitner? And then he was saying, like, yeah, she writes a newsletter. And I was asking, how is the newsletter of Dani Leitner? And it was really interesting how he made some bullet points about how I write my newsletter, which was really correct because the input actually came from me, but from different posts I put out there. Because there were some things that were from my website where I publish, I have a newsletter, just get on my newsletter. Some things came from LinkedIn because I promoted my newsletter. So he found some posts I made on LinkedIn. And one was an article I was writing about for Get Response about email marketing for small businesses, where I give tips how you should start your newsletter without making it a full time job. And there I gave tips about how I do it. And he got things out of this article about how my newsletter is. So it was actually getting it together from all these sources, which was really interesting. I was just like, yeah, of course. I was writing about this on this blog, and he can. I write like, yeah, I do it on my newsletter like this, and he knew my newsletter is that. So he just put it together.
Yeah, we just need to put this system. All our external links matters for website, really matter. I just wonder that me also. I think every SEO. Just let's make a test. Please write in comments if you are a specialist and you are googling yourself and try to build your knowledge panel, just to be sure that we are not crazy. Okay, so I also googling myself, and recently I go through a Q&A session with Craig Campbell and Chris
Mm-hmm.
Palmer. And I just wrote a comment like, what guys do you think about blah, blah, blah? And it was crazy. Yesterday I was Googling myself, and Chris Palmer has published this screenshot with him, with Craig Campbell, and my comment, and it was in Google search by my search query about my name. So Google well understood it, and it was really my comment. So he just scanned the text on this image, and the image was with my avatar. It was
Mm-hmm.
so tiny and so small, and it's just a screenshot from Instagram. And that's all. Now it's part of my knowledge graph in general. This comment will, yeah, it's like part of my brand, because when I Google it myself, I find this question, and hopefully gratefully that it was a good question and not the silliest one. And they decided that it's a good question for announcement of their Q&A session. And I had a really pretty image on my avatar, so they decided to let's take it. But now Google find it, and all my comments can be found, and
Mm, yeah.
also my old profiles like Quora, when I was a link builder, and spam a little bit. It's also in history. Google knows everything about you. So yeah, I
Yeah.
just when you are working with the content on your own website, please do not forget to provide really quality content for external backlinking. Like as you said, for example, you wrote a great article on Moz, and you really spend a lot of time, or even much more, because it's for Moz. So it's a typical mistake when people think that, okay, I will just watch a few backlinks and I don't care about the content, it can be generated. No, it can't, because it's also about indexing, and the website which allows which where you send your guest posts or any articles, it's also should be quality, because it, once
Yes.
again, it won't be indexed. At least. And just it's about your reputation,
Yeah.
because the person for in other side of your email will check it and say it like, sorry, it's generated, we will not work with you once again, and you will be blacklisted. So yeah, be careful with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so how we can work it from, for example, not from scratch, but for example, if we have already some kind of website, how we can improve our own strategy.
First thing, I would really choose the topic. I mean, it sounds strange to say choose the topic because, hey, I already have my topic. I mean, it's my brand and it's selling this. But I mean, choose a subtopic. Like if you have a really big, like travel, a travel blog, that's a huge topic. You can't just make Topical Authority for traveling. You need to make traveling Portugal or Interrail. So it's like it needs to be really a subtopic. If you're just in a big niche, you need to really say like, okay, I'm concentrating on this subtopic of it and start there. Of course, if you already have content on it, like if you start a travel blog like me, I was at the beginning writing about everything. And there were a few articles on Interrail. And then I said like, okay, I'm writing more on Interrail. So that was like the strategy. Okay, now I get into Interrail in the subtopic. So really choose a topic and not just put out anything. And yeah.
How do you think how we can let's take the same example? It's totally fine. I think you are a young website and you have a really good content. Probably we don't know because we are not ranking yet. But how how we can show Google additionally the value of our content, not only beside of text, I mean, what additional
Ah,
components we can use to
mm,
make it really catchy for not only for Google but as an additional signal to Google, like, look, I really did my best. What it
mm.
can be.
Yeah, so you're not talking about building more content. It's more like how can you promote the content and get it out there and make it more interesting. I think one of the first things on site that you should do is getting, if it's just text, start getting some images, start adding some videos or something like that, like, or tables or stuff like that, so to make it more engaging, the content. But the other thing would really be, if you already have great content on your website, you're still young, you're not ranking, start getting out there and write for other sites, go to podcasts, go to build your brand. Because with building your brands, you get links, so it gets more important, your page as well, but also you get out there and people get to know you and they might recognize you, and that helps you as well because Google will recognize you as well. And if you say like, okay, that's a long time strategy because I need to find podcasts, I need to pitch to blogs, I need to search for the Dream 100 list, start with social media. That's
Yeah,
what you can control. And there you can really, like in LinkedIn, you can say, hey, I wrote this article, summarize the main points. You can do this now with ChatGPT, so you don't even need to like read through everything again. You just read through what ChatGPT gives you and make it better. And then post the article there. And like every week, one of your articles, and people will see it, people will read it, and it gets signals.
yeah. Some experts recommend to make about 16 posts per month at least to
On
be
social media.
in LinkedIn. Um,
Ah, I was
about
just thinking about 16 blog posts on your blog. That would be like
no
huge.
no. I think it's really a lot. And Aleida Solis, I hope I pronounce it correctly. Aleida said recently, I just was wrote. I just remember it because it's really makes sense. Before to get, you need to contribute. It's
Mm.
so
Yeah, I
it's
heard
so
that from her as well.
easy. It's really a good advice, and just it's not only about SEO but in general.
Yeah.
If you want to be recognized, you should contribute firstly to just to let people know about who you are and what you are doing and what you are talking about in general.
Mm.
No one
Yes.
will, no one will work you until know about what you are talking about. So yeah, it's quite useful advice. If you're building your brand or if you want to succeed and get
Yeah.
big amount of traffic, yeah, you need to really contribute a lot and provide value, unfortunately, because no one cares. We all have our lives and we want to
Yes.
get quality information. If you cannot provide quality information, what are you doing here right now? That's
Mm.
all. The goal is pretty simple. Or just think about going to another profession. Yeah, I think it's rude, but yeah, unfortunately, unfortunately, it's true. Okay, and once. I think we talk a lot really about the expertise, about that we should think beyond the classic SEO recommendations and really think much more. I think in general we can underline that SEO become more complicated, and for if previously you should know the basic of HTML, the basic algorithms about keywords on page, etc. I think now you should think more about search engine reputation and user experience as well. And it's kind of separate topic, but it's also a big part. And you also need to be in marketing in general. It's not enough to be just a good SEO. You need also to learn a little bit more about social media promotion, how you can improve your strategy in general, because it's also about parasites. Yeah, how we can measure all our actions in a proper way. I don't have any paid tools because I'm a young website, I am on a tiny budget. How I can understand that I do it in a proper way?
Yeah, so that's I think a really good topic now that we didn't cover so far. How do you actually monitor it? And
Yeah.
that's not so easy because you can do keyword tracking. I mean, if you don't have a tool, it's a little bit hard to do keyword tracking if you don't just look every few days in incognito mode where you are. And of course, it's interesting. I mean, in some way you do it. You look in Google Search Console. Where is my main keyword? You know a little bit about what keywords you want to attract. But how do you notice now that you might have been in the direction of Topical Authority? Is that you actually really get not just for the latest article that you wrote, you finally got in there with your keywords, but over time also old articles get better, because that's the thing with Topical Authority. You start, it doesn't feel like anything is happening, and suddenly you have like this critical mass of good quality information, and Google says like, how, okay, maybe this person knows something about the topic and starts ranking you better, but not just the latest one, but also one that you wrote like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, a year ago, if it's in the topic. So you actually see a steady growth and not just on the one you last edited. So it's more like going on an overall basis of every topic or every article that's on the topic. So that's something to have in mind. So you not just look at the latest articles, but also on one that are longer ago. So if you don't use anything, I always recommend Google Search Console, because without Google Search Console, we don't know where we are really. And to
Yeah.
just look there how it's going over time and how you're ranking. If of course you have a tool or something, you can track the keywords. There you get like you're 10% better, you're worse, I don't know, something like that, some numbers. If not, you will need to like build it yourself or just have a look on the overall and look on the articles, then like, okay, how is this one performing? Okay, this is online already 6 months, is it getting better? And look like that. So it's more like a manual work.
What to do if, for example, we wrote a lot of article, but unfortunately some part of our articles are not performing well? What actions can we do?
Update it, of course. We can look at the article, what is missing, should we update it? But I really like to do with Google Search Console is see if you have an article and you see, okay, it actually ranks for the keywords I wanted it to rank. So Google understands that I'm making the right topic, but on position 25, 30, something like that. And you're just like, okay, that's not what I want because nobody clicks there. Then you know, like, okay, the direction is correct, but I need to put more context on it. Or you just go to the article and look at the article and look like, is there something missing, some information? Can I add some FAQs, which would be interesting? Can I add more pictures, more details? Uh, and I'm a really big fan of getting your second draft out there and working on your third and your fourth draft while it's already online. So to not be like perfectionist and I need to get this blog post perfect before I publish it, but publish it earlier And then you already see, okay, it goes in the right direction, and I can add still this and this and this.
It's hard to produce content for non-native speakers, for example. I would like to add just about the connection between words. For example, if you're writing about traveling, so we should to build connection in general on this topic and use the most common keywords which are also in this topic.
Like semantic keywords.
And for example, if you are talking about traveling alone, the backpack is our best keyword which is related, because in general the people who are traveling alone, they're traveling with their backpacks, so it's quite common. So you can for example, the easiest way, it's just recommendation for those who are working in non their native languages. Basically, I have run a website in German, and it was about medical topic. So I tried to build connection between these medical topics. So the easiest way which I did, I just go to Google, try to Google diseases, symptoms, and Wikipedia entities, to understand that, for example, erectile dysfunction is quite close to heart diseases.
Ah, yeah.
You should think in this way and try to explain people in your content the connection between different entities. I think this example is quite good just to understand in what. Let's take any kind of article, and you're reading about email marketing, but you don't see anything about email, so it's kind of signal, it's kind of red flag that you should think about it.
When we are with tracking, I actually was looking, I'm reading his newsletter of Kevin Indig. He suggested in one how to measure topical authority. I mean, it's not working without tools. Maybe it might work with Keyword Planner, but I think it's a really interesting idea that he has about topic share. That you would take every keyword, a tool like let's say, okay, travel, we said is not so well, so say Interrail. And we take every keyword for Interrail that has SEMrush, Ahrefs, SEO ranking, Systrix, whatever tool you use, export every keyword that has search volume. And that would be, if you would rank for every one of these on page one, on position one, you would have 100% topical authority, which is not really possible. But then you can really take who is ranking for the keywords and see how is the topic share with the competition and with you. I put the article of him down there because it's really interesting how he made it as an example for some niches, how you could measure. I mean, it's not so easy. It's a lot of work to get all this data out of the tool and then to match it. But it's a really nice idea from him to measure the topic share. I would really love some tool that would measure it like that, because they already have the data. I think there's no tool out there yet.
I think that for these cases, we just need to learn Python and
Yeah.
create crazy stuff, which is working with embeddings and factorizing, but it's really a little bit more technical and complicated. So for those who want to automate and expand, you should learn Python.
And you can learn this very well with ChatGPT.
And yes and no. And yes and no, because yeah. But in general, yeah, probably it can help you a little bit just to roadmap you. Okay. Thank you for providing examples. I think it will be useful go through this link and learn a little bit more.
I really like it. It's not such a long article, but I think he really got it really right about an idea how we could measure it. I think that was everything from my slides that I prepared.
Cool QR code. So I will stay with it for a while. You can scan. Please subscribe to Dani social media, to her email newsletter. I know that it's in German, and
Yes. So if you
am
don't
I
speak
right?
German,
You call it Google hates it, right?
hates you.
Google
So,
hates you. Yeah.
so in Germany, it is Google hasst dich. But the funny story is, it's not the name I gave it. It was a friend of mine, also a Swiss freelance as SEO, Corina Berry, and she called me out on LinkedIn because she was in my newsletter and was just like, "Hey, do you want a really cool SEO newsletter? Dani is writing a daily newsletter about SEO, which is called Google hasst dich." And I was just like, "Oh, that's a great name. I haven't thought about it." But I don't know. I wrote it somewhere, and I was saying to her, like, "Hey, you gave my newsletter a name." And she was just like, "It didn't have this name already? I thought it was already the name of your Google." No, but now it is.
What your top 3 sources which you really enjoy to read about SEO and content marketing?
I'm a huge fan of Kevin Indig, how you saw, and Ellie
Yeah.
Schwartz. They have like really good Substacks. I really love to read their articles, and also they have a podcast together, the Contrarian Marketer. I think they haven't posted for the last few weeks. I'm really upset, but I really would follow them. I really like them. And also, what I'm reading regularly is SEO FOMO from Maleda, of course, because there you get like every Sunday you get the email with the latest news and insights, which is really cool. How I think her newsletter gets longer like every month. She has a new section there, and I'm sure you read it as well. No?
Yeah. I'm subscribed, of course.
Yeah.
For me, it's like a separate ritual. So I put my time. I go to my favorite cafe. I take a batanado e pastel de nata. I drink, enjoy, and I'm reading it. So and make some kind of notes. So for me, it's like my Sunday mood.
But
I
that's
I
really
need
cool.
it.
I
Yeah.
loved it. I need something like that as well, because I'm now more like I'm in the train and I'm reading through it, and then I'm highlighting it because I want to read the articles she's linking to, and I never get around. It's just like, fuck, still need to read these articles because I really want to dig into it. But I think
Yeah.
yours is better.
Thank you a lot. We really dig this topic. I think it will be good one for those who started, or just for those who want to listen and relax a little bit. So just know you're not alone. We understand that it's hard. SEO can be challenged. Everyone makes mistakes, and it's fine. But your superpower is exactly in your mistakes, because when you do some kind of mistakes, you got the greatest experience, which push you forward. Just
Yeah.
for now, it's kind of popular that everywhere in LinkedIn, Twitter, people are sharing their success stories. But just to be sure, beside these success stories, there is a long, long journey of mistakes, tests, and a lot of hard work. So,
Yeah. I think
thank
in SEO it's especially true because there is no one true road to get to Rome, and you really have to try, fuck up, try again, try something else, try again, try something else, and something will work. And then you learn. With everything you try, you learn like, oh, okay, that's working. And then every time you change niche, it might be completely different.
yeah. For niches, it's totally true, because depend on the niche, there are different rule of games. For
Yeah.
example, if you're talking about black hat niches such as gambling or betting, it's totally the different rule of games. So
Yeah.
if you were before the really white hat guy and you just go to gambling, you will be surprised. You will be surprised what kind of links are working, what kind of content is work, and how much you need to know about server part and rendering of the website, and what hidden games you need to
Wow.
find there. So yeah, thank you for this episode, guys. Please, if you like our episode, please like, comment, subscribe, because uh, we really take a lot of work to make this podcast interesting for you, and especially it will be good for me because every time I'm making podcast I'm a little bit nervous. So please, if you like, just put a like. It's not so hard. And see you in next episode. See you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.